What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in today. So today's video is going to be a little different than our normal videos. If you guys are used to watching our videos, you know most of our videos are for entertainment purposes, and every now and then we do some product reviews or product installs that may be a little educational. But today's video is going to be primarily serious and hopefully educational for all you guys. So as a channel, we pride ourselves on being, consistent and getting you guys our content on a regular basis. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we've been doing it solid for 2 to 3 years, and we really take a lot of pride in that. I think that's a big part of YouTube and giving the subscribers what they want. You guys might have noticed over the last couple weeks, we really haven't had a lot of videos out, maybe a few shorts here and there. And there's a reason for that. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. So I want to talk about July 15th. It was a little over 2 weeks ago, Saturday here in New Jersey. Beautiful day, normal Saturday in the summer. My wife had some plans for the day, and so she was going to be busy, and I had received a text message from a buddy of ours the night before asking if I wanted to go out for a ride on Saturday. And since I really didn't have anything going on and the wife was busy, I said, yeah, let's do it. So got up that Saturday early and rode down to Hamilton, which is 20, 30 minutes from us. Met up for breakfast at a diner. We had breakfast and we kind of discussed what we were going to do for the day and kind of made our plans. That's kind of just how, any normal riding day would go for us anyway. So we kind of headed from the diner down to the furthest south we could really go in New Jersey, which is Cape May, down to the Cape May Brewery. And we rode down there and we didn't take highways. We avoided tolls and highways. So that kind of gave you like a nice long back roads kind of ride. And it took us, not 2 hours, but close to 2 hours to get down there. And, beautiful day, having a great time. It was me, my buddy, his girlfriend, another buddy, and his wife. And actually there was another friend, and so that's 6 of us. Just an awesome day of riding. We went down there. We had a beer at the Cape May Brewery, and then we kind of just started making our way back up north to where we live, making some stops along the way for lunch. We ended up making a stop for lunch, had lunch, hung out, just having a good time, making our way back north and riding, enjoying the motorcycles like all of us like to do. And along the way, as we started getting a little further north and getting a little further in the day, text messaging with the wife, we kind of started making some plans for the evening and to hang out. And we were going to hang out with, the wife and George and his wife, and we were kind of making those plans. So we end up getting really close to home and stopping at the Piccadilly Inn, which you guys have seen us, if you watch the channel, many times go there on our rides. Stopped there, hung out there for a little bit, and then I had to make my way home. And we kind of all split up. And that's kind of where the story starts and where hopefully the educational part comes in. I headed home, and I was a little bit behind schedule for what we were planning to do for the evening. So I was kind of hurrying, and I made my way up 206 and then got off on the side roads like I always do to take the back way home. And I'm cruising along, and that's kind of where the story kind of falls apart a little bit. That's when I crashed my bike. So I came into a curve on a road that I've been on 100+ times on my motorcycle with no problem. But I came in a little hot, hotter than I probably should have been, but normally wouldn't be a problem for this curve. This curve is not like a hairpin turn. It's not a technical road. It's just a curve. It's a normal curve. But I got a little complacent and I came into this curve a little hot. And when I did, as I came into the curve, I saw there was some sand, some debris, a little bit of rocks, gravel in the turn. And it kind of instantly made me hesitate on really leaning into this turn like I needed to for the speed I was going. So I hesitated, and at that point I got really wide on the curve, and then I realized I need to lean into this curve to make it. And so I started to, but it was just too late. My front tire hit the grass off of the shoulder, and that was it. The bike wiped out. The bike went flying. I went down. Honestly, I can't really tell you much about what happened from there because it happened so fast. It was like a million miles an hour. I was on my back and sliding down the road, and I had crashed, and all I could think in my head was, oh, you know what did I just do? So it kind of from there, I can't really tell you detail for detail because if anybody, it's been an accident, you're kind of not totally with it. I was trying to figure out what just happened. I heard a voice of a woman who had just probably been coming along there and saw it happen. She stopped, she got out. I was on the ground, and at that point, I was just kind of taking kind of an assessment of my body. I could feel everything. I didn't feel like anything hurt. I could move things. All right, I'm not paralyzed. And then I just wanted to get the helmet off. I was wearing a full face helmet, thankfully. And I asked the woman who I could hear was like right over my shoulder to help me get the helmet off. She didn't want to help me. And I was like, listen, I need to get this helmet off. I'm really feeling really claustrophobic right now. I need to get this off. So I don't really remember if she helped me or if I did it myself, but like I felt like my fingers weren't really working right, like with all the chaos of what was going on. But we got the helmet off. I took it off, and then I wanted to stand up. And again, the woman was like, no, I think you need to stay here. And I was like, listen, shut up, lady, which thank you, lady, whoever you were. I don't know who you were, and I never really did see your face. But thank you for calling 911, and thank you for being there to help me. Sorry I was so stubborn and combative. But I kind of shooed her away, and I stood up and realized, I'm okay. There's nothing crazy, life-threatening, and I kind of just took a minute to lean against the fence because I was right next to a horse farm, lean against the fence and kind of just gather myself and collect my thoughts and figure out what just happened. At that point, someone came over and said, hey, here's your phone. This was on the ground, so someone handed me my phone. I called my wife, which I was grateful to be able to do, and I'm glad it wasn't somebody else calling her. So I called her and told her that I was just crashed my bike, but I was okay. And she was like, where are you? I told her where I was. She was on her way. So then I just kind of hung out there. I knew the people had already called 911. So I just waited. They got there really quick. I got to be honest. The EMTs got there really quick. They pulled up, brought me into the little, they got pretty fancy EMT vehicles or whatever you call them, ambulances nowadays. Went inside that. They looked at what I had going on. I had some cuts and stuff on my elbows. My finger was pretty jacked up. So they cleaned that off, bandaged it up. They recommended that I go to the ER. Kind of at that point, my wife got there. So she came in. They kind of told her where I was. She came into the vehicle with me. And I was being stubborn. I didn't feel like I was that messed up. And I told them I didn't need to go to the emergency room, so I refused that service. They bandaged me up, went outside with the wife, kind of picked up some stuff that was all over the road from my bike, from my tour pack. We had baggers and brews, business cards all over the road, parts of the bike, some of my personal stuff just kind of all over. So we picked all that up, gathered everything off the bike that we can get, put it in my wife's car, and we went home. That was kind of it for the day. I went home. Obviously, I was still full of adrenaline, and George and Stacy came over and hung out with us to see how I was. We hung out for a while and talked, and they, kind of assessed the damage. I didn't feel like I was that bad at that time with all of, the adrenaline. It didn't really feel like it hurt. And then the next day, I kind of woke up and realized I was in a little more pain than I thought I was. And I ended up going to the ER the next day to just get checked out, make sure nothing was broke. Long story short on that, nothing was broke. They did a lot of x-rays. I had a lot of scrapes and road rash and cuts and bruises, and my ankles and feet were pretty bruised up and swollen, but nothing life-threatening, nothing serious to worry about. So that was that. So all that to say, like why did I crash? What caused it? So there's a couple things there. Obviously, a huge factor was my own error, my own fault. I got comfortable and complacent and went into that curve way too fast. Now, if you really factor in that curve itself not being a real serious curve, and the fact that I've been on that curve 100 times, was I going too fast for the curve? Yes, but could I handle that curve? Yes. But when I got into that curve, that's when the part that you can't account for happened. And I realized as I came into that curve hot and I needed to lean hard into that curve to make the curve, I saw sand and debris and just like little pieces of branch. Like it was just all this stuff was like on that outside of that curve, which made me hesitate instantly on wanting to lean hard into it. And at that point, it happened so fast that I got wide on the curve and my front tire hit the grass before you even knew it. And as soon as it hit the grass, it was over. So all that to say, this was a completely avoidable accident had I not been overconfident and I had not come into that curve assuming that the curve and the roadway and the conditions were clear and clean and fine and there was no issues like they normally are, because we can't predict those, right? So this accident was partially my fault, partially road conditions' fault, but it was avoidable had I not been overconfident. And I always say that, you have to be confident and comfortable with your bike to ride. If you're not, you shouldn't ride. And that I stand by that. Like you can't be riding timid, you can't be riding scared. But at the same time, overconfidence is just as deadly as underconfidence. And I think in this particular moment, I was in a hurry. I was trying to get home. I was overconfident and I underestimated that curve and what potentially could be in that curve. And this is the result. My bike is trashed and my body's broken. So, was it worth it? No. We need to remember, even if we've been riding 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, the basics of riding and the basics of how to handle a curve, the basics of the technique, all of those things. And that's kind of the point of what I want to get across to you, because this accident in my mind was 100% avoidable and my fault. And because I didn't follow the simple basic things that we all learn when we first learn to ride a motorcycle. And I'm hoping that all of you can learn from watching this, or if nothing else, just be in the back of your mind the next time you're riding to be a little more cautious and not to be overconfident. We should all learn from our own mistakes, but the smart ones are going to learn from other people's mistakes. So we're making this video in hopes that it'll help some of you guys out there. This all worked out and could have been a lot worse. I mean, it could have been a lot worse, but, it worked out for me and that I wasn't severely hurt, but you never know what happens if it's a different road, different conditions, different things for me to hit, whatever. Like it could have been a lot more serious. We all ride because we love it, because it's a passion of ours. But we also know that there are a lot of risks in doing so. Every time we get on the bike, we know that there's a chance that something could happen. It's a dangerous passion. It's a dangerous hobby, whatever you want to call it, lifestyle. There's enough things out there to put us in jeopardy. There's other cars and drivers that don't pay attention to us, weather conditions, road conditions, something going wrong with your bike that you can't control. There's all these things that are out of our control that are out there putting us in jeopardy every time we ride. The last thing we need is to be the reason that something happens, to be the one that causes the problem. And that's really what happened in this situation. And I don't want that to happen to you guys. So I'm hoping that you guys, I expect to take a beating on this video and to have people talk trash in the comments about, not being a rider, not being a good rider, not being a skilled rider, whatever. I don't really care, whatever. It's going to come, it's going to happen. It's YouTube. But for the people that aren't just here to, tell me what an idiot I am, I hope you guys will just get something out of it and just understand that we all need to remember every time we ride the basics of what we learned when we were learning to ride and what keeps us safe, and not be the reason that we get in an accident, because there's too many other things out there that we already have to avoid, and there's no reason for us ourselves to be the cause of an accident. And I'm extremely humbled by this whole incident. I don't think it's going to change my confidence in riding, but I hope that it changes my overconfidence. I hope that it keeps me a little more focused and a little more grounded when I'm riding, and remember the people that it affects when I'm riding, because honestly, if we kill ourselves on our bikes, it doesn't affect us, but it affects your loved ones, it affects your wife, it affects your husband, it affects your kids, and they're the ones that are going to suffer through it. So I hope that we can all, just kind of remember that when we're out riding and focus on what's going to keep us alive and healthy and happy and enjoying the motorcycle lifestyle. So that's kind of the purpose of this video, guys. I hope that you guys get something out of this. Feel free to comment if you want. I expect to get comments. I don't really care. I definitely understand the gravity of the video. I understand the gravity of what happened and what caused it. I'm extremely upset with myself for that because, again, it was avoidable. And I hope that we can all do a better job when we're riding to avoid things that are avoidable. I mean, there's too many other things, too many other distractions, too many other factors we can't control. We need to control what we can control. And in this situation, it was one. And I hope that you guys learn something from it. Remember, when you're coming in your curves and your turns, to get to the right speed, to get to the right spot, outside, inside, outside, all those little basics that you learn when you're learning to ride a motorcycle, we can't forget those. They're extremely important and they could save your life. I joke all the time about safety third. That's a joke. I just do that as a joke. That's, for fun. The reality is we all need to protect ourselves when we're out there because there's people depending on us. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you get something out of this. I hope it changes maybe the way that you ride, or just kind of opens your eyes to how you ride. And I appreciate you all. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.